Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're just going to poke into the energy continued from all of the general readings for all the signs earlier this week, okay? So we're just going to be using 3 decks, New Orleans Oracle, Halloween Oracle, and Ancestor Spirit. And it's basically whatever comes out. Follow your placements. This is for Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And we're doing this just grouping together by quadruplicity. So we'll start off with the cardinal signs, Libra, Cancer, Aries, and Capricorn. Move on to fixed, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and mutable, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces. And I will timestamp in the description box for you guys, okay? Let's go. All right, for our cardinal signs, Libras, Cancers, Aries, Capricorns, Sun, Moon, Mercury's, Venus, and Mars placement. Spirit, what do we have for the overall energy? Whatever comes out, right? All right. Continued from the readings earlier in the week for these signs, please, Spirit. All right. We have let loose. Number 3 might be significant to you. Oh, time to have a good time. Love it. All about Mardi Gras, and it is about Mardi Gras time, so that may be significant to someone. Everyone knows that Mardi Gras is a celebration of all celebrations. If this card has shown up, that means it's time to let loose and forget all of the obligations that have been plaguing you, even if just for a few hours. Your ability to experience fulfillment and enjoyment in the moment has been compromised due to overthinking, managing life's obligations, and experiencing a lack of joy in your day-to-day life. This current imbalance has started to affect your generally positive outlook, and it's time for some revitalization. Cut loose even just a little and see how much it positively affects your energy and overall outlook, okay? All right, we'll get a couple. We're going to get a few from the Halloween Oracle. I have plenty of space so we can work it. All right. For our cardinal signs, anything else they need to know? Whatever comes out. All right. I'm actually going to do 4 since we have the space for it. Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Take it how it resonates, guys. One more. There we go. We're just going to do a quickie with these as well. So random. Spirit wants us to do right now. Okay. First one out, you have midnight, the most magical hour of all. Allow yourself to relax in the benevolent darkness of midnight. You may feel this is your darkest hour, but know that the light will return again. The dawn always follows the darkest night. So maybe some of you might be going through a dark night of the soul. I sometimes see this card as that. This could also just be tapping into some of the shadow work that needs to be done. As well as maybe even just tapping into the energy that the witching hour provides for you at this time, okay? For whatever that means for you. Know, too, that it is important to recognize that we all have darkness within us, just as we have light, and this isn't something to hide from, okay? You also have ghost, regret, all right. This may indicate that you have some regrets to let go of. Holding grudges or regrets is burdensome work, and it weighs us down eventually. By taking actions to free ourselves of these old burdens, we clear the way for more rightful and wise action for the future. We can begin to live again fully if we let go of what was and step into new possibilities. Now, with both these cards as well, there may be some sort of paranormal experiences you may be having, especially around the midnight hour, okay? Pay attention. It might pique some of your psychic abilities more and give you an opportunity to develop some clairs. And just see how the energy is working for you. You know, it may be a time where you're kind of learning how that energy works, right? being able to discern what's a shadow figure or some apparition or just some residual energy that's attached to a location or an ancestor orb, okay? Could also just be learning the differences between how your guides communicate with you, because sometimes they do things that are paranormal in nature, but it's usually very mild and tame, you know, especially if they're moving things, it's always something stupid. Okay, it's not so stupid, but it's benign, okay? It's not anything extravagant, okay? There you go. So this could also indicate that you might be tapping into those abilities as well at this time, or needing to, okay? You also have Apple, risk and reward, okay? I immediately thought of the seed pattern, the pentagram seed pattern in Apple. That may be significant to someone right now for protection, okay? Apples have been an iconic part of mythos from ancient times to modern. The story of the poison apple in Snow White, to the Roman goddess Pomona's magical apple tree, to the Christians' tempting fruit in the Garden of Eden. Should you receive this apple in your reading, it's time to look at how risk plays out in your life. Are you hedging your bets and not trying anything new? Do you want change but aren't willing to change anything? Are you willing to risk to get a greater reward? Or alternatively, are you risking too much and how often? So it's about finding that balance as well in terms of what you're investing your resource and time and energy into, right? Whether or not it's worth the reward. Then you have Dawn, how perfect, talking about midnight hour. This card reminds you that there's always a fresh start and a new beginning to be had. Change is unstoppable, and even the most difficult times will pass, no matter how devastating they may seem. Hope is one of the most powerful motivating forces in the universe, and it's being indicated here, okay? So have hope. And your final guidance from the Ancestor Spirit Oracle. And Spirit wants to put out two. I guess we can force some room. That'll be fine. Kind of just going with it. See what happens. That's all I'll sense it as well, like getting a sense of just having fun, right? You know, that let loose. Not take things so seriously. Just kind of have fun and play with it. Okay? I'm just seeing that with the let loose and Mardi Gras and everything else here as well. Okay? So from the Ancestor Spirit, you have honor the deities around you, prayers, offerings, and help. I'm actually going to read the whole thing. There may be something that'll ping for you intuitively with the meaning of the card as well as its inspiration. Let's see here. The ancient Egyptians worshipped a pantheon of deities, all of whom had specific roles to play. Over 2,000 gods and goddesses were thought to be at work influencing everything from the people, the weather, seasons, and crops to natural disasters. There were deities to protect the living and others to safeguard the dead in the afterlife. People sought the favor of the gods and goddesses by recognizing, honoring, and worshiping them through ritual prayer and offerings. Pleasing the deities meant they would continue to keep the world in divine order and the people safe. They were called upon for personal reasons and community goals and were seen as spiritual helpers who lived among the people. Many of these deities are still worshipped by modern-day Egyptians and people from different cultures around the world. It is okay to ask for help from the spiritual world. This card has appeared for you because an angel, guide, or other spirit helper is assisting you with a question or problem. And that could be you paying attention here to this top, right? Okay. With the midnight and the ghost, okay? Ground. Physically protect and shield your energy, then meditate, listen, look, feel, and pay attention to what they are trying to show or say to you. You may feel drawn to learning about or working with a specific god or goddess. You may also have connection to it, and your guides might be trying to show you something that's relevant to your past lives that might have something to do with your current life, right? And it's funny they mentioned the Egyptians here, because I definitely have that with Isis. And she's been the only one to pop up during Lionsgate, for example, as far as an ascended master energy is concerned. didn't even know that was possible, and here she is. So that may be something for you too, okay? And keep in mind, Beltane is around the corner, okay? It's not just Halloween, Beltane also, okay? So you may want to like reconnect with that, and you might have to kind of like go of some nasty energy to make room for it, so you can elevate your vibe to meet theirs, right? And then that way they can communicate with you more. Develop your knowledge and relationship with a deity you feel connected to. It doesn't have to be an Egyptian god or goddess. It could be a deity from a completely different culture. I've been learning a lot about like the Hawaiian spiritual cultures. It's like kind of awesome. I'm really vibing with Maui just because he's funny. So you may want to branch out, you know, even outside of your own heritage too, and see what you vibe with, right? You may like to learn how to prepare a ritual or an offering to honor a specific deity. If you already use ritual or prayer to connect with a deity, this is a sign that they want to work with them more closely. Make time to reconnect with your chosen god, goddess, or spirit helper today. Spirit just popped into my head. Whatever was mentioned, there were gods and goddesses mentioned throughout all of the readings for all the signs. Maybe try with one of the ones that popped up for you, okay? Whichever one reading that you're feeling guided to like connect with, okay? One of those may be a good one to kind of look into. It might bring you down a rabbit hole to where you need to be, all right? That's what I have for you, cardinal signs. There you go. Follow your other placements too. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, all right? Bye. All right, fixed signs. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, Venus, Mars. Let's see what we got for you. Overall energy from the New Orleans Oracle Spirit, please, for our fixed signs. Whatever they need to know at this time, whatever comes out. Okay, you have card number 28, Flow. 28 does break down to a 10. 10s are endings leading to new beginnings. Some kind of closure, finishing up of something. Flow also talks about just going with the flow, right? There may be some divine order at play here. Here we go. Flow is the natural balance of all beings and things. The movement of the ocean and the cycles of the moon are all perfect examples of flow. And I immediately thought of Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy, okay? They are ever-changing, without judgment, and of fluid form. Much like the ocean, the human experience of flow can be rather unpredictable. However, it is always as it should be. It is time for you to be aware of what your flow is, without judgment. This can mean anything from a minor change in daily habits that will put you more at ease, to a major decision concerning career that may lead to a huge positive shift in your life. Staying in your flow simply requires the awareness of how your energy is affected by your thoughts or experiences, and choosing the thoughts or experiences that feed into your flow instead of taking you out of it, okay? So I'm going to pull a few from Halloween Oracle. Anything else regarding flow, Spirit? All right, for our fixed signs, please. Where is flow leading our fixed signs? Let's get one more. All right. All right, first one out, you have midnight, the most magical hour of all. And the cardinal signs just got this, so that may be significant to you at this time, okay? This all talks about the witching hour. So there may be some strong energy around that time. A good time to connect with your guides, okay? Especially regarding with where this flow is taking you, okay? Whatever divine order there is. It also allows you to kind of work the dark too. Allow yourself to relax into the benevolent darkness of midnight. You may feel this is your darkest hour, but know that the light will return again. The dawn always follows the darkest night. Again, with dark night of the soul kind of energy. So you may be kind of like revisiting that if you've already gone through it. There may be some shadow that needs to be ironed out, okay, before anything continues forward at this time. The dawn always follows the darkest night. Know too that it is important to recognize that we all have darkness within us, just as we have light, and this isn't something to hide from, okay? So just face it. Next up, you have invisibility, authenticity. Ooh. Now this card has quite a few meanings, okay? Here we go. The concept of invisibility is a double-edged sword. While it is a powerful tool to gain information or to assist while no one sees, individuals using it are privy to information that may not be meant for them, and it may be taken out of context or unethically. It is a power of manipulation and easily abused. The idea of hiding away and not being seen is also a big part of the dark side of this concept. So maybe you've been holed up too long, right? You know, a little too much hermit mode, time to come out. There could also just be things unknown around you that's kind of worrisome, right? You don't know who's true, who's real, who's speaking truth. It's also about speaking your truth too, and just being honest with your authenticity, okay? We are all born to shine our light out into the world and to take our roles. Hiding our talents, not expressing our true selves, stealing others' ideas or work, and being someone else rather than your authentic self are all aspects to consider should this card appear in your reading, okay? So this could also just mean it's time to come out of the dark and work your light, right? But I'm also saying that it's going to guide you to someplace, okay? Up next, you have the Black Cat. Fortune meets opportunity, exactly what this flow is bringing you into, right? You are protected, but there's some sort of opportunity you might need to prepare for. Let's see what we got here. In traditional folklore, cats were said to have one foot in this world and one in the next. They were the conduit between the underworld and this world, and fortune and opportunity. Should the slinky black cat cross your path through this oracle, know that good luck and fortune will be meeting you promptly. Also know that your luck will be even luckier if you are prepared to take advantage of every special opportunity that comes your way, okay? Remember, things are happening in divine order, it seems. So this may pertain to whatever was identified in one of your readings, okay? Whichever placement. So go follow that, okay? That may give you a clue as to what to prepare for, okay? Or at least be aware of, all right? You also have the veil, the future. So definitely connecting with the divine, okay? And seeing past the veil, right? As I talked about in the cardinal signs, Beltane is coming up. Beltane is when the veil is also thin. It's not just Halloween, right? And it's also not just Lionsgate too. There are plenty of portals that are like that. So this may be a time to prep you for that. There may be some big spiritual breakthrough happening around whenever the veil is super duper thin, okay? So keep that in mind. All right, let's see what else it has for you. There you are. The ancient Celts used to call the time of the longest night of the year Samhain. That's Halloween, or Samhain, spelled Samhain. They believed that there was a misty veil that separated the world of the dead and the living. But on 2 nights of the year, Samhain and Beltane, the shortest night, that the veil would be thin, as I just said, okay? The fineness of the veil meant the ancestors were closer than ever. So this could be ancestral for you. And even the gods would be close. Ancestors and ascended masters. Okay. This would mean that communications from the dead were more likely to occur, and that divination, where the divine speaks through something, such as what we're doing right now, would be more effective, okay? So that might hint, hint, nudge, nudge, practice of divination techniques that you're comfortable with. Doesn't have to be cardomancy. There's a ton of others, right? There's plenty of scrying methods. You've got crystal balls. You've got runes. You got, well, the little tangible anything. Any kind of astrogalomancy does wonders. So there's tons of ways to work divination, okay? I mean, you've seen a few methods here. Even bibliomancy. Playing with more. There's also Tazio and a bunch of others. So this may be a good time to kind of play around with some divination techniques, right? It's good for your own guidance as well. You don't necessarily have to do it for others. I mean, I started doing this probably a year and a half before I actually started the channel. And even long before that, I dabbled. So it does help a little bit. And you'll be able to kind of develop your clairs too in the process. So there may be some leveling up with that as well. Especially if you're going to if you're going to be able to communicate and connect with higher dimensional energies, right? This may also indicate that you might have to break out of your shell a little bit and face some of these shadows, right, in order to do that, so that you can raise your vibration. So while using this oracle, as the veil lifts, know that the other worlds are close. Listen in particular to what messages may come forth around your future, okay? Fortune meets opportunity, remember? Look to what you want to have happen. Plan, set intentions, and think big, okay? Let's get you some final guidance from the Ancestor Spirit Oracle, please. Anything else? For our fixed sign spirit, please and thank you. Nice. We have open to love, relationships, passion, and fulfillment. So that could be an indicator of what you might be connecting with and at what level of frequency, which would be the highest level. Frequency. Super high frequency. Love it. Okay. For centuries, the Kalasha have lived in remote villages in isolation between northern Pakistan's Chitral Valley and the Afghan border. Many of the Kalasha are blonde hair and blue-eyed, and a look that is much different to other tribes in Pakistan. The Kalasha also stand out for their culture and outlook on life. Traditionally, the Kalasha are polytheistic, believing in and worshipping many gods and goddesses. The Kalasha prefer to make love, not war, and they have a unique approach to relationships. The Kalasha women are sexually liberated, and loveless liaisons hold no appeal for these spirited women. Kalasha women can choose their husbands, but if the union doesn't work out, she can contact another man she likes. She can let him know how much her current husband paid in dowry for her, and the new husband-to-be can then have to pay double that dowry price. In Kalasha cultural traditions, a couple might elope and get married even if the woman is still married to someone else. The freedom of relationship Kalasha women have enjoyed for centuries is radically different from the patriarchal codes of many parts of the world. So, what I'm getting from this is that you might be connecting with an energy that the Kalasha tribe would remind you of, right? Perhaps whatever you're moving into is something similar to what they had experienced, right? This could very well be about relationships too, in terms of what you need to prepare for, okay? There may be something coming in where culturally it's something along those lines, right? And maybe it's an opportunity to kind of work on something that has some sort of ancestral or past life connection to your purpose, and you'll need to kind of figure that out, okay? I know there's many layers to things, and it may just be one little thing you're doing right now. It may not be something permanent. It could just be something temporary, too. I'm not getting a sense of anything permanent right now. The ancestors speak. You are incredibly independent and don't often ask for help or let people in, but it is okay for you to allow yourself to receive from others. You will not become weak or lose your independence if you open yourself up to people and relationships. Allow yourself to feel love, happiness, and fulfillment. Be open to meeting people, starting a relationship, and experiencing new things. So this may actually be a new energy, an old energy packaged in a new body. Okay, there we go. So that could be it as well, all right? Be open to meeting new people, experiencing new things. Try not to feel guilty for wanting more for yourself. You deserve to be content and fulfilled. Commit to letting other people into your personal space. Allow yourself to enjoy life again. This card is letting you know that your relationship area needs attention. Okay? So however this resonates for you, work, love, life, right? There's all types of relationships. If you're currently in an intimate relationship, look at how you feel in your relationship at that moment. And it could be with like a best friend, you know, a beloved. Shoot, it could even be with, you know, a child, okay? Be honest with yourself. Look at what you can change for the better, or look at what you need to do to make your relationship happier. So like if you have a really, really close, deep connection with a family member, you know, that's non-romantic, but still close, you know, there may be something here that might apply to the situation, okay? So I'm just thinking of all types of relationships for you. If you're single, this card is letting you know a new partner is about to come into your life. Don't be scared. You deserve to be happy, to have a happy, equal, fulfilling partnership, okay? There you go. Hopefully that helps. Follow your other placements too. We're doing Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars for this. I know it's a lot, all right? And Venus, especially since relationships were brought up here, and Moon too, since looks like there's going to be some tapping into that good old intuition, right? All right, there you go, fixed signs. Bye. All right, mutable signs. Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars placements. All right, let's see what we got for you. Overall energy from New Orleans Oracle. Take it how it resonates. We're just going to try and cover as much energies as possible here. And relative to whatever came up with your generals earlier this week. I know it was pretty varied. So you have card number 1, Power. Marie Laveau is on deck. Nice. Ascended Master energy, guys. So that may resonate for you at this time. You may be connecting with Ascended Masters. But not like, you know, angels and gods and goddesses. More like notables, right? Like Joan of Arc and Marie Laveau. And I'm even certain Frida Kahlo is an Ascended Master. Or Jesus Christ, for example. Okay? Trying to think who else. Babaji. Okay, so whoever was brought up in the generals early in the week, as far as which Ascended Masters showed up that were just like regular folk, you might want to go check those out, whichever placements for you. Power. Marie Laveau was the epitome of power and grace within the community of New Orleans. Not only was she a known, astute businesswoman, okay, so that might be an indicator of where we're going here, but she was also the go-to person for the spiritual remedies for everyday life. If you have drawn this card, you have been called to embrace all aspects of yourself and to rise to every occasion with confidence. You are so much more than the mundane daily tasks that often bog you down. New opportunities will help you explore the different ways you can express yourself and feel more fulfilled. So there may be some sort of purposey business idea that's going to pop up like nobody's business. All right? And you might have to get into that divinity to do it. Whatever that means for you, right? Let's get 4 from the Halloween Oracle for our mutable signs. Gemini, Virgo, Sag, Pisces. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars. So far, Moon sign seems to be very specific. Could be Mercury too, I can see that. Mercury was a communicator to the upper realms, so to speak, the other dimensions. So that's possible. All right, let's get 3, 4, something like that. Okay, all right. Interesting. Okay, just seeing all these together, seems like whatever it is can be done remotely at home, maybe even something during cold weather too. You know, so it's not anything that relies too much on anything, okay? Definitely some alchemy going on here. Winter, the sacrifice of pausing. Let's see what else individually these have to offer. This is all about rebirth, just kind of taking rest and relaxation after things have ended, right? Winter signifies the end of the year. So it's like sort of pausing and kind of like, you know, in autumn things die out, you know, harvest things. And then in winter, everything kind of is dead, right? And kind of just resting before spring hits. And then bam, everything's back to life again, right? New beginnings everywhere. All right. The sacredness of pausing. In winter, the earth slows down and there's less light and often more wet weather. Many plants die back. Many animals are less active, and traditionally it was a leaner, more difficult time for those who worked on the land for their living. So that may indicate to you what this may be. You know, maybe something that you would use that has died off, you know, even if it's like plant life or something, right? Winter often brought it with it the end of a life cycle, a figurative or literal death. Should winter appear, it's time to let what no longer serves you die away. So this could also be about just cleansing out low vibrational or just some kind of transmutative kind of property to it, okay? Where it seems natural and right to let things that have been bothering you for some time die back, take real action to change those things. That's your transmutation, right? Anything that is superfluous, extra, and burdensome, release it, okay? There may also be a time to do some spring, this may be an indication spring cleaning, right? Is on the way. So anything that needs to go could be good to toss it out so you can organize and get a fresh palette, so to speak, a fresh canvas going, right? Whatever it is you're creating here. You have hearth, happiness in our hearts and homes. This is also about a deep connection to family and your household, as well as what's in your heart chakra and what you truly unconditionally love, right? You are being asked to look to your idea of what home and family is for you. Take the time to build up your love fire and have it burning brightly. Make your relationships a priority. So maybe there's something here that could be paired up and work together, right? Maybe some good old synergy, work, love, life, right? Relationships. If there is conflict within your home and family, it is time to take concrete steps to address the issue for good. If you or a family member is away from home due to travel or work, so that could be an indication to maybe, you know, work travel, okay? Know that protection is being given, okay? Then what came up is cauldron, synergy, and healing. This indicates the importance of combining a variety of techniques or elements to get the best results. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. Refuse to choose just a single rigid pathway when a variety of ways are there to be enjoyed and experienced. So this would be a good time to learn all that. You've got some pause time. This is a good time to do a little research and figure out all your options and methods, right? Techniques, whatever it is for you, whatever project you're working on, right? Kind of experiment a little bit. You can find your own ways to create something new. The cauldron is a deeply transformational tool. Things change once they are put under pressure. Resilience is being cultivated over time, and this means that you will be able to withstand any negative pressure more healthfully from the inside out. And also, continuing with this synergy is Barmbrack, okay? Now, Barmbrack is really a divination tool, okay? Put into the form of bread with a bunch of little bits in it to determine what the message is, right? So this could have something to do with fortune telling or divination in some form or fashion as well, okay? Or just being able to kind of set things up for the future, like a 1 year look ahead. That typically what was Barmbrack was used for, is 1 year look ahead. So that may give you some sort of indication as to whatever you're working on should have a 1 year staying power. Okay. Barmbrack, sweetness and synergy. When you pull this card, it indicates a curiosity to know what is ahead, but it's important to balance that with the now. After all, we have the tools to change our future should we choose. The sweet synergy of Barmbrack, all the ingredients, including the objects, are more complete and powerful together than they are individually, should encourage you to seek your own sweet spot. And if this literally is about making Barmbrack, I'll go ahead and read a little bit about what Barmbrack is for you, in case you don't know. Not quite a cake and not quite a bread. Barmbrack is a sweet loaf, larger than a typical bread loaf, baked with flour, sugar, salt, and dried fruits such as raisins. The making of Barmbrack is an Irish tradition that still stands around Samhain, Halloween. The person baking the loaf would be sure to set the intention for love, truth, and synergy while preparing. Inside the dough, a number of special objects are hidden and baked into the loaf. The objects are used as kind of a random oracle. Each one has a particular meaning, which represents the fate of the person who found it in their slice. The traditional objects include a coin, which would indicate prosperity and good luck. A pea, unfortunately, meant that no marriage would occur for you that year. The ring meant a marriage was certain. The stick, to be avoided at all costs, indicated disputes and unhappiness. And finding the cloth meant bad luck and little money ahead. So that may be indicators for you of whatever this could be, right? Coin, pea, stick, ring, and cloth, okay? All right, let's pull final guidance from Ancestor Spirit Oracle, please, for our mutable signs. Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, please. One more. All right. Yes. You have embrace your inner gypsy. So maybe there's some gypsiness going on here too that might be relative. Freedom, fun, and music. Gypsies divinated. That's for sure. And lots of awesome food too. So I can see that. All right. I'm going to read the whole thing for you in case something will ping for you. All right. The Gitanos are a community of nomadic people who fled from northwestern India to western Asia, North Africa, and into Europe. As the Gitanos traveled, they shared their music and culture with the local people. Now, the gypsies here, known as Gitanos, you might find in like Spain. They're actually responsible for flamenco. So there you go. Man, something I'm very familiar with. I actually studied that in high school and wrote a research paper in Spanish class for that. Loved it. It was great. As the Gitanos traveled, they shared their music and culture with the local people. Gitanos survived as traveling blacksmiths and pot makers. They were also well known as singers, dancers, musicians, and fortune tellers. Many Europeans were intrigued by the Gitanos and their supposed ability to foretell the future, their passion for life, and their love of freedom as evidenced by their nomadic lifestyle. Not everyone was happy to have the Gitanos in their country, though. Their reputation for begging and stealing meant they were feared, treated as outcasts, and forced to live several miles from any town. Despite discrimination, the Gitanos have survived and preserved their traditional way of life. They have lived by their own rules rather than seek approval from outside their community. They have always traveled and experienced life on their own terms. And you do have a sense of travel here, right? Maybe it's more nomadic. Be a gypsy, right? Or something gypsy-like. The ancestors speak. The ancestor spirits want to help you feel like a creative gypsy. Have you had the desire to run away and leave everything behind you? Have you been feeling like a caged bird or a hamster on a wheel? It's time to free yourself. Be passionate and begin to enjoy life again. You do not need to run away or become a nomad, but you do need to do something that can release your stress levels. You may like to dance, sing, travel, or go to a festival or marketplace. And a sort of parade festival did show up with the cardinal sign, so that may be relative to someone, okay? I just immediately thought of Mardi Gras. All right. This could also indicate, too, you might have some sort of gypsy heritage, either from this lifetime or a past life, too. So you may connect with that. There's different gypsy clans all over. So however that means for you. Any nomadic group that would do these things, okay? That celebrate in this way. Consider what you could do to get back on track to your fun-loving, free-spirited self. If you can't make the changes today, put things into place so you don't feel stagnant or trapped. And it could very well be because you've had this moment of pause with winter, right? You know, we're coming out of it. I mean, where I'm at now, it feels like it's like the beginning of spring a little bit. It's still cold, but the sun's out. Things are growing and flowering. So wherever you're at, you might still be stuck indoors because the weather sucks. So this would be a good time to kind of make some plans for spring, okay? Book a holiday, plan an outing, or dance in your lounge room. Free your mind and your soul by doing things that make you feel alive and passionate. You are not meant to feel like a caged animal. Be true to yourself and to what you want to do and free yourself today. Love it. So all about freedom, okay? And you may need to work on some things to free, you know, your emotional self. So if you're like stuck, if you feel like you're in mental imprisonment or emotional prison, there are things that you can do to kind of free it. And it's usually bringing in that high vibrational joy, right? That sweetness of life, right? And synergizing more than one thing, okay? There you go, guys. Have a good one. Bye.